Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Beat Goes On. I, of course, am Larri King, your hostess with the mostest, and today I am sitting down with Penny Freeman. No, this is not a member of a local band, but what she is a very valued member of the local beat, and it's time that everybody gets their chance to meet this lady and find out a little bit about what she's about. In the process today, you are actually going to get to find out some more about me because we're kind of doing a dual interview where we're going to be asking each other questions and basically just having a girls' gab session. So let's get started with, hey Penny, welcome to The Beat Goes On.
Hey.
So isn't this great? Don't you love my home office?
Yeah.
Kind of nice and cozy. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about a little bit about who's Penny.
Who am I?
How did you get into the music community? How did you get started in this community?
Gosh, I've always had a love of music, and I'm a total 80s girl. So ever since high school, or even junior high, I've always loved music, and unfortunately, I've never even been able to go to any concerts until after I graduated high school and pretty much was on my own. So my first concert was actually Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi Skid Row out at Compton Terrace.
Nice.
And a lot of people, if they're native to Arizona, they'll know where Compton Terrace is.
And that answers the next question. I was going to ask you if you're a native Arizonan, because that actually makes a difference from what I'm learning. It makes a difference in what you consider a big venue. Mm-hmm. Compton Terrace, what is that?
It's an outdoor venue. Okay. It's kind of out, probably a little past Chandler. I think out, I don't even know exactly where it's at anymore because it's not there. I think it's a racetrack now or something.
Oh, okay.
But kind of close out by where the casino is, somewhere out that way.
So we've had a lot of venues. I get a lot of the bands as I'm talking to them that have been around for a while. They talk about, we played at this venue, that venue. There are a lot of venues that we have lost over the last few years.
Yeah.
It's getting hard for the musicians to have a place to play.
Yeah, and the venues that I remember from back then, I don't even know of any of them that are still around, And I heard, on your interview with Wasp, how they used to play out at the Mason Jar. It's like...
Yeah, that's the Rebel Lounge now.
Oh, is that what the Rebel Lounge is?
Yes,
oh, okay.
That's the Rebel Lounge now.
Wow. But yeah, that was the big thing back then. If you were an 80s band or any local band, if you played the Jar, that was a big deal, So.
And see, now, when I got here to Phoenix 2 years ago, this go around 2 years ago, Joe's Grotto was the iconic place to play. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now we've lost it. And I just heard recently we just lost another venue, or we've got another venue that we're about to lose. And I can't remember which one. I'll have to double check on that because, as you know, Penny, we get a lot of people that say a lot of things around us because they forget that we're standing there. Yeah. And we have to stay quiet. Darn it.
Yeah.
I only share secrets with my 800 of my, closest friends. No big deal.
Hopefully more soon.
Well, we've got that competition happening on the local beat for the anniversary show, trying to see who's going to be able to guess how many members the local beat has by midnight, March 13th. The winner of that is actually going to get a prize at the anniversary show on March 14th. So if you're a member of the local beat and you guess the prize and get the prize, make sure you've got to show up to the show to get your prize. Now that we're done with that absolutely shameless plug.
Yeah.
I try not to do that too often, but that was too perfect.
That's what this is all about. You know?
That is what this show is all about, is what we do at the local beat and who we are. So you went to the Compton and saw your first show. Who was playing?
Bon Jovi and Skid Row.
Bon Jovi and Skid Row.
I'm a diehard Bon Jovi fan.
Nice.
Anybody that knows me knows that already.
Nice.
I get stuff sent to me all the time. If there's any ad or anything that has anything to do with Bon Jovi, they'll send it to me in a message or tag me on Facebook. My dad would record stuff for me. So when I would go to their house, I mean, that was kind of his way to get me to stay longer was, oh, sit down, I got something for you to see.
Oh, God, that's so funny.
And then he would turn it on. It could have been Bon Jovi was on Jay Leno or David Letterman or whatever, and he'll record it and make
just
me watch
so you'll
it.
sit and watch the show. That's funny. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, but, turned him into a Bon Jovi fan also. So.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And now me, when I think of Penny, I think of, and Penny's favorite band, I of course think of two bands. The band that brought us together in our friendship, which is Oddity Paradox. Mm-hmm. And then, I would absolutely be remiss if I didn't mention Fatal Malady, who is, your absolutely squealy band.
My diehard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's they are my number one local band right now.
Well, and okay, so we actually went and shared lunch before we did this interview, so I got a lot of insider information, and I'm going to see how much of it I can get her to talk about today. So, because Fatal Malady might not have ever heard this story yet, tell me the story of how you first got to go see Fatal Malady.
Well, Trevor and I, my husband, we were dating at that time, sitting in the backyard, just kind of chilling, drinking, and we were trying to figure out something to do for the weekend, and I said, well, let's check out and see who's playing at Joe's Grotto, and never heard of any of the bands that were playing that night, and so we kind of did a little YouTube, search and checked out some of the bands.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there just so people know and understand. Bands, you need to hear this. Some of us fans actually still go YouTube looking for things. So do not stop putting your music out on YouTube, please. Okay, Penny, now you can go back to your...
Yeah, so we searched YouTube and looked up Fatal Malady and found some of their videos and some of the stuff they've done, and I was like, holy crap, these guys are freaking amazing.
And I have to say, you went to their last concert up here at Club Red.
Yes.
And you posted videos on the local beat from that concert. Mm-hmm. And those videos made me a Fatal Malady fan. Normally that level of metal is not my preferred level of metal, but their videos are freaking awesome that they play when they're, oh my God.
And the intro that they have.
That devil thingy floating out at you, looking almost 3D. That was phenomenal.
If you really listen to it, it's speaking of what's going on in our world right now. And that's like, it's so crazy, and I don't know, I just love it, and that was kind of like what linked us with Fatal Malady. So anyway, we go to the show that night, and Charity Allen, William Allen's wife, came up to us.
Okay, now William Allen plays
the
drums for Fatal Malady. Okay.
And his wife came up to us and introduced herself and asked if, we'd been to a show before of theirs, and we're like, no, this is our first, and we're just blown away. And anyway, so we ended up kind of Facebook friending after that and became friends with them. And so we've been to probably almost every show since then.
Nice.
Maybe minus one or two, for whatever reason we couldn't make it, but yeah, we're
that's how I feel about Oddity Paradox.
Mm-hmm.
The only shows since I started following Oddity Paradox, I think I've missed 3 shows. 1 because I wasn't feeling well, and 2 because they were out of town, and I don't even know that it's been that many. I know of at least 2 shows I've missed, but maybe 3. So I get that. I get that level of dedication to a band.
Mm-hmm. And becoming friends with them in the process. Yeah. So, I mean, it's even,
Okay, and seriously, friends at a level, guys, just so you understand how phenomenally good friends she is with Fatal Malady, we are hosting Penny's 50th birthday party at Hooper's Bar and Grill in Glendale. Now, Hooper's isn't the largest of bars, and Fatal Malady will be playing a set for Penny's 50th birthday party at Hooper's on May 9th. That's how much Fatal Malady actually cares about, at least this fan in particular. That's pretty awesome and says quite a bit for their love for you. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty awesome because they're a pretty big band.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Oh,
I mean, they're going places.
No, honey, they are so on their way.
Yeah.
The fact that when I was talking to them about setting up the show, and they jokingly laughed about, we just got to make sure we don't set the place on fire. Mm. Yeah, please don't. And I got to say, the interactions I've had with them, they've been really phenomenal to work with. I'm so thankful that they agreed to do your birthday party.
Me too. I was so excited. I was afraid they might say no, but yeah, I was like,
but yes. They didn't. They absolutely didn't. That show is going to rock. Mm-hmm. That is going to be such an, my God.
And I did handpick all the bands that are playing that night.
Every single one of them, let me tell you. And who is our lineup for your birthday party, Penny?
Well, definitely Fatal Malady. And we got Oddity Paradox, Desert Vikings, and Scott Rowe Red Rum.
That is our lineup for May 9th at Hooper's. So, Oddity Paradox. Mm-hmm. That is, to my mind, your second favorite band.
Yeah.
Second favorite local band. We'll do it that way. That way we don't count out Bon Jovi. We can't count out Bon Jovi.
Well, he's not local, but,
Right, that's why I said local band. We'll do the local bands. How did you fall into Oddity Paradox's fan club?
Well, I actually got a friend request from Icky Stain, and I'm like, who is Icky Stain? I mean, I'm like...
You realize it took me like 2 weeks of talking to him before it dawned on me what his name was?
I'm like...
That just cracked me up.
I'm like, Icky Stain? Who? What? So, of course, I'm like, who is this guy? So I, of course... have to do my little search. Looked on his Facebook page. Then I think I searched YouTube and whatever. Anyways, come across some of his music, and I believe it was Monster. And I was like, oh, now that's cool. I like that.
Now, if I remember my first meeting with you, Trevor told me that Monster is your alarm.
No, his
alarm.
His alarm.
Okay. His alarm is Monster.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it would freaking hear that 1, 2, 3, and then boing. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it just freaking makes my heart just freaking jump out of my chest. It scares the crap out of me when you're in a sleep mode. But I think now he changed it to the alarm of when he needs to leave the house for work. He's got an alarm set for everything. And it's like, oh my God. And especially when he would hit snooze all the time. And it's like, and then it just kept playing. I'm like, would you just get up already? You know?
I mean, come on. Out of my bed at this point.
Yay. But yeah. So.
That's actually kind of hilarious. I like that. Maybe I need to make linked my alarm. Maybe that will get me going in the morning.
Yeah.
So let's stick on the theme of Penny's bands. We'll actually even stick on the theme of Penny's birthday bands. Mm-hmm. Because the next story I actually get to play a part in. Desert Vikings. Mm-hmm. How did Desert Vikings become a part of your life?
I'm trying to think. It had to been with you because I don't even think I even knew who Desert Vikings was.
So would you like me to tell the story and you
sure.
can chime in?
Yeah.
So Penny and I met through Oddity Paradox. Icky Stan introduced me to her at one of their shows at the Starlight Lounge. And I actually sat with her and her husband Trevor through a good portion of the show, except when I was up taking videos. That happened to be the show where Horace Miller got his endorsement from Bad Boy Guitars. Yeah. That was a pretty phenomenal night.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was how we made friends, and she found out about the local beat and joined it and all of that, and we continued our friendship. And a couple of months ago, Penny and I were talking about a show coming up that included Desert Vikings, and she had made not really a negative comment, but a kind of comment, because she really didn't know who Desert Vikings were. And I'm like, oh no, you really need to know these guys, because they're very cool. And because we all know that Desert Vikings is one of my important bands that I like to work with. I almost said play with, because that's kind of what this job is for me, is playing. Anyway, so Penny happened to show up at Rips at the next Oddity Paradox gig, which happened to also include Desert Vikings, or no, not Desert Vikings, it was Scott Rowe and Red Rum that were playing. But at the time, Sean Gilbreth, who was at the time one of the guitar players for Scott Rowe and Red Rum, is also one of the guitar players for Desert Vikings, as well as Forrest Flunner. Anyway, so Scott was at Rips, or not Scott, Sean was at Rips, of course, because he was playing.
That's right.
And I introduced her to Sean so that she, could meet this incredible human being that I get the joy of actually interacting and doing work with. And you guys liked them well enough. You liked at least Sean well enough.
Yeah, I forgot. That was his last night playing.
That was his absolute last night playing, with Scott Rowe and Red Rum.
Right. And so we just started talking, and him and Trevor started talking about guitars, because
Sean also has a side business making guitars.
Guitars. So they really started connecting through talking about that, and me, I just kind of stood there and
rolled with it.
Yeah. So, but he seemed like a really cool guy, nice guy, and we were like, all right, yeah, cool, yeah, we need to we'll check this band out. And besides, Rachel's in it, and Will, that were from Two in the Chest, and,
right?
So yeah, what the heck.
So then we got Penny out to the very next show that Desert Vikings played, which was at Hooper's. That happened to be the night that Penny asked me if I would host her 50th birthday party, which we turned into a show. Mm-hmm. To hell with just a birthday party. You only turn 50 once. Come on now. Mm-hmm. So that was how Desert Vikings came into your world. And Sean, you do not get credit for them like you tried to take. That was me. Nah. So, Scott Rowe and Red Rum.
Was that them? We saw them at Rips that night. Was the night that we met Sean. So
that was your first introduction to Scott Rowe and Red Rum.
Exactly.
Wow. What did you think?
I wasn't quite sure what to think at first. I was like, what the heck?
The silver-tongued devil can leave you speechless for sure.
I mean, I was intrigued anyway because I know that he did Alice Cooper.
Uh-huh.
And I have yet to see him do the Alice Cooper.
And you're going to have to go see it soon because this year they are retiring the Alice Cooper tribute band.
Yeah, so actually I'm going to go, I think it's in March. And, because we were...
I want to say it's I think it's March 8th. No, March...
I can't remember.
March 13th, I want to say.
Yeah.
We'll double check on dates and I'll make sure that gets shouted out on another show. But yeah, Scott Rose... Alice Cooper Tribute Band. It is ending this year. October 31st is their last show. So if you do like that one or haven't seen it and want to see it, you need to get out and see them soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were definitely going to go on Halloween, but we have big plans for Halloween at our house because we have this thing of... We started this last Halloween about decorating our house. Yeah. And this year we want to really go all out. We got some really cool decorations this year.
Very nice.
So I'm like, oh, man. And then I saw that he had a show booked for March. And I'm like, okay, we're definitely going to that one. And because I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, back to the Red Rum. Seen them at Rips. And I was just like, what the hell? And Trevor was all creeped out because Scott, when he was like...
Scott has a way of getting in your face, really.
And he kept pointing, and he was pointing directly at Trevor, and Trevor's like, he's creeping me the fuck out right now. And, but it was funny, and I'm like, wow, I'm kind of, you don't know what to think at first, but then I'm like... There's entertainment factor here.
Uh-huh.
And he can put on a show. And to me, a great show is all about stage presence.
You bet.
And when you can go into character like that, you're putting on a show. Mm-hmm. And that's what...
There's value there.
Yeah, so that's what kind of hooked me on with Scott Rowe. And I thought, you know what the hell? I want him at my birthday party.
There you go.
So that's kind of how that came about.
It's going to be one incredible night. Yeah. I am so looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. So just so you guys know that, yes, this podcast is a chat session, but bands that are listening to this podcast is an important one for you because this is giving you a lot of insider information as to why somebody wants to follow you. What about you, what you can do to make a fan become a friend who will fight for you. Each one of these bands we've been talking about so far actually have meaning for both Penny and I. And it's a bond. Her and I have bonded over this music and built a friendship that's turning out to be pretty awesome. The fact that I invited her to join in on the local Beat team, that says a lot because anybody who knows me understands what the local Beat means to me and how hard I fight for that group. And it's not something I easily invite somebody to join my team. And I'm going to explain to Penny for the very first time why I invited Penny to join the local Beat team. And it's because, number one, we'd already developed a bit of a bond over Oddity Paradox. Mm-hmm. And then we developed that additional bonding over Desert Vikings and your birthday party. And then you started going out and taking videos to help support my poor overloaded workload self. And the quality of videos that you take. and the pictures that you take. Those are the quality of videos that I always want to see going out and being on my page, supporting those bands. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've had a lot of people tell me my videos are good. I always pick them apart. I do. I pick them apart badly. But I want that good high quality because I know that bands get booked off of those. And you give that quality. And that's a quality that actually can only come from somebody who actually loves A, what they're doing, and B, what they're videotaping.
Yes, I am very picky about pictures and video. I did photography in high school, and I did do a couple jobs that I worked in the photo labs and stuff after high school. And one being, I did photography, portrait studio, which I hated because that's not my thing. I don't like to do
And it
portraits.
doesn't matter how good you are, if it's not in your heart, the quality is not going to be there.
My thing was always music or scenery. I love taking pictures of scenery and concerts. That's always been my thing. And so right now I feel like I'm living my dream.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
I mean, it's like I was doing this before I even met you, and I would post, my pictures and videos.
Absolutely.
And, and I love putting what I love out there. And so if the music's good, I'm sharing it. You guys need to come out and see this band. They're awesome. And that's basically how it
all goes back to fans are fickle, friends will fight for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, well, I do know because of the conversations we've had. You absolutely have these bands carved on your heart, just like I do. And we hold a lot of the same ideals as well as ideas on helping promote the bands and helping get their name out there. And that makes it easy to work with you.
Yeah.
Because we're both coming from that same place. We're coming from the heart.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't matter what ideas I come up with. She's already got them on paper.
Eventually, you will come up with an idea before me. I promise it will happen eventually.
I did.
Which one?
The intro.
Oh, the intro. You betcha. That was something I hadn't even thought of. Penny actually came up with the idea of creating an intro.
And actually, it was Trevor's idea.
Oh, well, okay. So Trevor came up with the idea of creating an intro and an exit music for The Beat Goes On. So we are going to be reaching out to one of our favorite bands to try and get that intro and exit created, so that there's actually music to start this show out as well as close this show out. So, let's get back to the music. Yeah. How are you enjoying your time being on the local beat crew?
I love it. I feel honored that you asked me to be a part of it, because I'm doing what I love. I already go out every weekend pretty much and go watch bands. So this actually pushes me to go watch bands that I normally probably wouldn't go watch.
Welcome to expanding your music world.
Just so that I can help.
Icky Stain, thank you for yelling at me for not expanding my music world. You suck some days.
But it's good. And it helps the bands. And that's what I love to do, is help people. And so now I get to enjoy what I love and help the bands at the same time. So
just wait until they start giving you the merch. Oh my God.
I've gotten my share from a few.
It'll come more. I promise it'll come more. That is probably one of the most humbling moments for me.
Because
when a band walks up and gives me something of theirs. I've had t-shirts, I've had stickers, recently just got a CD from Dawn of the Rising that hasn't even been released yet. I mean, these are touchy-feely, girly moments happening, man.
But that's when you know a band appreciates you and has
Absolutely.
respect for you as a fan. And I think, we should be humbled by them doing that for us.
It is out, and it is. It's so bands. Those that have given things to us. If you didn't understand the honor that you were presenting to us at that moment, please take heart. I can't speak for anybody else other than myself and Penny, and only Penny because she has chimed in that, that's an absolutely humbling moment. And we appreciate what you guys give to us, not just in the fact of the merchandise, the t-shirts, the stickers, not just in that. I personally appreciate the music that you give to us. Music holds a pretty heavy place in my heart. I've told people before, I have seen music pull the gun out of somebody's mouth. So music holds a really, really strong spot for me, and a really emotional spot for me. And Penny, you? What does music mean to you?
I don't know. It just makes me feel good. I enjoy, especially going to live music. It opens you up in ways that you didn't even know that you could open up to. You know what I mean? It makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
The
energy that I walk out of there with.
Oh, and the people that you meet.
Oh God.
And that's the cool thing about this music community,
right,
is that you meet so many people that you normally would not meet on a normal day.
Let's talk about that behind the curtain world that we're a part of. Biggest stereotype that has been now absolutely washed away for you in regards to musicians, what is it? What's one idea that you held in your mind about musicians that you've now been able to laugh about because you've realized it was so wrong?
They're all drug addicts. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and that's true. You hear people talk about that. Alcoholics and drug addicts.
Yeah. The 80s, that's basically sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Isn't that all the 80s were about? Was alcohol, drugs, and sex?
What? The thing of it is, okay, maybe then that was the thing. But all these people that we loved back then to go see have all grown up and have all aged as we have.
Yeah, we've all.
And
if we're lucky, we've grown up.
Some of them, they've had to clean their act up.
Oh, yeah.
Look at, you got Aerosmith and...
Let's go to... Okay, it's probably very stereotypical of me to call them this, but the bad boys of rock and roll. Motley Crue. Okay, they've got a whole movie out there, though.
Yeah.
Showing what their life was like. The level of alcohol, drugs, you name it. And where they've come since then.
Oh, yeah. Look at Nikki Sixx. Kickstart My Heart was written because of him.
Right.
They literally had to kickstart his heart because he stopped.
Yeah.
Breathing. He was dead.
Right.
And all because of the drugs.
Yeah.
But now he's clean.
And I laugh when I meet somebody, because I do property management for a living. Mm-hmm. And I have residents that actually come check in with me on the weekends to see what band I've just been out watching or listening to, or who else I've now met, or what new cool music is coming out. Because I've always got music on my phone from some band that I've just done a video of. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many of them have come to me and asked me why I still do property management. Don't I make a ton of money helping promote the bands? And I laugh every single time, because what most people who aren't behind the curtain don't realize is, until you hit the national level, there is no money in music, guys. Fans, there's no money in music.
No, they're starting musicians for a reason.
These people are working full-time day jobs and coming out on their off time to entertain you.
And a lot of times for almost nothing.
Or nothing.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into a bar and you're not paying a cover charge,
then the bands aren't getting crap.
Yeah. And to me, honestly, personally, I feel that there should be cover charges on any
night that there's a live band playing.
Right, you know? Because I don't feel that there should be no cover charge. Even for my birthday, I feel like, you know, that just seems weird to me.
Well, but Hooper's is actually paying us to be there that night.
Right, but
they aren't paying a huge amount. It's not like the bands are going to make bank that night.
Right.
But they are going to get something. They're not doing it for free, although some of them would.
But you know, the thing of it is, it's like they're not getting paid as much
as they deserve.
As they should be getting paid.
Absolutely. But we'll get them there.
Right.
We'll get them there.
We'll figure something out.
So, fans understand when a band gives you a t-shirt, when they give you a signed CD that you didn't have to pay for, when they give you anything that you didn't have to pay for.
They paid for it.
They paid for it. That's coming out of their personal finances. Be thankful for that. It means something. Bar owners, I don't want to call you out and make this a bad thing, but please understand, if there's any way you can put more money into your budget for the bands, they sure would appreciate it. Now, let's get off the heavy topics and back to fun. Oh my goodness. Okay.
That was too serious.
That got too serious for a moment there. Oh my God. Oh,
but
goodness
that's how
gracious.
important it is.
That is how important it is. So, let's talk some more about upcoming shows. I know that you've got a show coming up this weekend that you're rather excited to go to.
And you.
I actually, I really am.
Wasp.
Yes, we actually get to go to the Marquee Theater and see Wasp. So excited for that.
And I'm going to quote something that I heard on their interview, because I love it, and it also kind of goes back to all the...
So do you remember which one of the guys said it?
I do not remember, and because I couldn't tell their voices apart, you know, because I don't really know them personally.
Well, once you quote it, I might be able to tell you which one did it.
Make it a day to remember. I don't know if it was Will or...
That was either Will or Terry, I want to say. The drummer or the lead singer, guys, for those of you that don't know their real names. But yeah, that's...
Yeah, so I mean, they were talking about, you know, how, like, when you go up and you want to meet a band or whatever, you want to get your picture taken with them or whatever, it's like, they're all for it, you know? You can approach them at their merch table or whatever, they're going to be in full dress, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to hold them to it. I want to see. Because I want to see.
Wasp, you are getting called out. Oh my goodness.
I want to see if they're going to make it a day to remember.
Oh, no, I have to tell you, I know I talked a little bit about this on the interview that I did with them, and I've got to tell you, that was a night. Talk about humbling. Number one, I was invited into Will's home. He is the drummer for Wasp. he invited me into his home to do that interview. Mm-hmm. His wife cooked us dinner.
Oh, wow.
I got to sit down and have dinner with that family, and by family I mean that entire band.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then go and do the interview and get to do live video of them practicing. What you guys didn't get to see on that live video, because at one point I had to cut the camera off, because they were doing new songs. That are going to be played at this show this weekend.
Nice.
So I've gotten to see a sneak peek of that music.
And you know what? I never even listened to Wasp. Back in the 80s or whenever. I was never a Wasp fan. Never really listened to them. But I have a story about... oh, God. I probably shouldn't say it.
Go ahead. We like stories on this show.
The only thing I can kind of connect to Blackie Lawless kind of moment, not that I ever met Blackie Lawless, but back in the day, I used to be able to cruise Metro Center.
I remember, because I lived here when I was in high school and junior high.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I lived here for almost 9 years back then.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I remember cruising Metro Center.
Metro Center. And anyways, a couple of my friends and I were at what was called Golf and Stuff.
I remember Golf and Stuff.
Back then, a.k.a. Castles and Coasters. Anyway, so we were out sitting outside on the little brick wall area, and back then, all these guys had long hair.
Oh, yes.
We're talking 80s here.
It is the 80s. Of course there was long hair and lots of Aquanet.
Yes. And so, pretty much almost every guy walking around, long hair, and looked like they were in a rock and roll band. And me...
And they all wanted to be.
I love long hair on guys. I don't know. I'm very attracted to that. And
it's so funny because I prefer them clean cut.
Because you're the country girl.
I am, and I have a huge military background in my family, and yeah.
My dad did not like the long hair, earrings, and stuff like that. Okay, so anytime I dated a guy, he would call him a long-haired hippie son of a bitch.
Nice.
And anyway, so my dad didn't like most of the guys that I liked. And so it's so funny because now my husband has long hair and earrings.
Hey.
And so I always call him, you're my long-haired hippie son bitch. And anyway, back to that.
Back to your story that night at Metro Center. It's okay.
So anyway, so this guy comes walking by, and he had long black hair, and I was like, oh my God, it looks like Blackie Lawless, minus the gray streaks. But anyways, the guy just comes right up to me and then just kissed me right. And I'm like, what the heck? But anyways, I got his number, and anyways, so I kind of became friends with him a little bit after. But yeah, it was just a quick little
hi.
Yeah, that was it. I never dated him. Never went out with him.
And that was Blackie Lawless.
It was not Blackie.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I said he looked like Blackie Lawless. Yeah, that was why I was like, oh my God. But yeah, but that's how things were back then,
right?
You know what I mean? So it was just.
It was definitely a different time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd commented on on one of those posts on Facebook about the Jar, how my friend and I had gone there, and Warrant was playing, and a local band then, Kaiser, was also in there, and anyways, they're out by the window talking to us from inside, and we're outside. I couldn't get in because I wasn't 21. My friend could have totally ditched me and went in, but
but that's not the way. That's not the way friends do.
She's cool, and she's actually, well, they're not really married, but they've been together for a long time, and he is guitar player for Flotsam and Jetsam.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't want to throw people's names out there. So
no, it's absolutely... No, seriously. You're not saying anything bad.
No, but
by
I mean,
putting
I'm like, I don't
people's
want
names out there is getting them attention. And if her man plays for Flotsam and Jetsam, then they absolutely want to be shouted out about.
Yeah.
It's okay. You'll get used to this.
I know, but I'm not like a name dropper.
Well, and that I was just going to say, in regards to this, when you're doing an interview like this, oh girl, name drop.
Yeah.
I'm not a name dropper either in life, but
we've
in
been friends
this,
a long time, her and I.
You betcha.
Yeah.
And helping get her man's band name out there, you betcha. It's okay. It's, like I said, not a name dropper either, but in this, we want people's names out there. We want to shout out and give credit to and get attention for. That's kind of what we do now. Yeah. But welcome to our world where we actually need to name drop.
Yeah. Well, her and I used to go, and we were concert buddies back then, so we would go and take pictures.
Back in the day when it was actual cameras and not our cell phones.
35 millimeter. We both worked in the photo lab, so we developed pictures ourselves. And, but yeah.
Imagine how much harder this job that we now do would have been back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and then you don't know if your pictures turned out until you got your film developed.
And everything I do now is done with my cell phone.
I love the whole cell phone thing because this whole digital thing, and it took me forever to go digital because I was so old school when it came to taking pictures. I needed film because I like hard copies, you know. And I still will print off pictures because, well, if you've seen how many pictures I have one day when you come to my house, I'll show you. And I'll show you all the pictures I have from the concerts that I've taken. I got some really good ones of Warrant.
Nice.
I mean, back then when it was general admission, and it was basically you get in line, you're first in line, so you
first come, first serve.
Yeah, you go and you find the seat that you want.
Right.
And so yeah, we got some good shots.
Yeah.
Of them, and there was a time. Well, this might have been the time when they played at the Roxy. There was a venue here called the Roxy, and this was like 93, 94 maybe. And we met Winger and Warrant, and how we got to meet Warrant after the show is we went into the bathroom because you had to have backstage pass, whatever. We were always trying to get backstage.
You bet. That was kind of a game.
Yeah. It never really worked for us. We even made fake press passes and everything.
Oh my God.
And, oh God.
That's funny.
And the things that we tried to do to meet these bands. And anyway, so we went into the bathroom and waited until everybody left. And then we came out. And we just kind of blended in with all the other, groupies. And so we actually got to meet Janie Lane and Eric Turner, and my favorite was Jerry Dixon, the bass player. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was some bushy eyebrows. I don't know, but I liked him. But yeah, so it was kind of cool. We got to meet them, and now Janie Lane's not even around anymore, so he passed away.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw Warrant, and they had broke up, and they got back together to do Rocklahoma in 2008, and I went out there.
Nice.
Yes. And so I got to see a lot of bands, and I got a lot of great pictures, and
we're going to have to create a special photo album on the local beat for Penny's pictures.
Oh, jeez. Well, they're on my Facebook. Anyways, that was the last show I got to see Janie Lane, and he was sad to say, but it was horrible. It was really bad because he was just not good.
Yeah,
it just wasn't the same. But to me, is not Warrant without Janie Lane.
Yeah.
Just like Journey's not Journey without Steve Perry. You know, bands are who they are. Skid Row's not Skid Row without Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
Sebastian Bach is Skid Row.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of these bands that kind of, you know, your band is your lead singer.
Well, not necessarily just the lead singer.
No, but I mean, that's your sound, that's your voice.
But it's I bring this up because let's go back to Oddity Paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Iggy Stane, the lead singer of Oddity Paradox, has an extremely phenomenal voice. Mm-hmm. We just had that conversation.
And unique.
Absolutely unique. His voice is truly one of a kind. Mm-hmm. When I first started following them, I compared it to, not because of sound, but because of unique, I compared it to Metallica. When Metallica first came out, that was one of the things everybody talked about, was the uniqueness of their lead singer's voice. Mm-hmm. I want to say Lars is his name, but I think I've got the wrong name. I know Lars is a member of the band. Lars is the drummer, the lead. I can't remember the lead. Okay, so moving on. Can't remember the lead singer of Metallica, but his voice is extremely unique, and he's well known for his unique voice. Iggy Stane of Oddity Paradox is the same way. His voice is so unique. I've had the pleasure of hearing him sing multiple styles of music. Mm-hmm. And it's always amazing to me how many different ways he can use his voice. He would be known no matter what he did. But the same goes for Horace Miller. Mm-hmm. Without Horace Miller, Oddity Paradox would not be Oddity Paradox.
Right.
They could get another guitar player.
But he's one of a kind.
But Horace is a one of a kind. And there are a lot of different musicians that are the same.
Because they have their style.
They're so unique.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so stand out. Another classic example of that was the drummer that we just lost from Rush.
Oh, yeah.
He was so unique, so stand out. They're never going to be able to replace him. And hopefully they're smart enough to understand to not replace him. Mm-hmm. Find somebody else who can bring their own unique style to the music without taking away from the music. And I feel that way about a lot of musicians. There's a lot of musicians out there that are just incredibly stand out.
Right.
No matter what band they're with.
I do agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's like your style, your uniqueness is what makes your band. And I think that's why when I say that about those bands, because that is what...
Yeah, that person.
Was what, that was the band. Yeah. You know what I mean? That made them famous. You know? That's who stands out.
Right.
And, but Journey, continued on. And they do have a great singer. I mean, he sounds a lot like Steve Perry. And if you want to see an awesome tribute band in Arizona, if you haven't already, is Voyager.
I haven't seen him yet.
Oh my God. Now that guy is amazing.
See, and now a lot of you know, some of you don't. I'm originally from Washington State. Every time this comes up, or every time grunge comes up again, I apologize. Please do not hold grunge against the entire state of Washington. Not all of us agreed with it. Not all of us liked it. Some of us wore flannels before grunge came out. But, so, in Seattle, cover bands were not a thing. You didn't get any kind of recognition because you could sing somebody else's music well. Recognition came when you could write and create your own music and do it well. I didn't realize cover bands were anything until I went to California a couple of years ago to visit my sister. and she took me to a show that was all cover bands, and they were phenomenal. They were really good. The only reason I agreed to go was there was a Metallica cover band there, and I love Metallica. But that was when I first heard of cover bands being a thing. And then I moved here to Arizona, and cover bands are the only bands that get any kind of real recognition out here.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the bars, that's all they'll play.
Yeah. And that's a foreign concept to me still. 2 years later, being in this state, that's a foreign concept to me. Why would you prefer...
Right.
But it is what gets people off their butts and on their feet.
Well, because people want to go and listen to music they're familiar with. And
they can't afford $130 for a ticket to go see the actual band.
Right.
Ta-da!
Not anymore. You can't, because back in the 80s, you could go buy a concert ticket for $20 and get general admission, go sit wherever you want.
And now, $20 was expensive.
Yeah, and now it's like, okay, you don't go see Bon Jovi, it's going to cost you $100
at least,
and you're going to be sitting in the nosebleed.
Right.
Right. So
I remember paying $25 to go get nosebleed tickets, mind you, back in 97. And the reason I know it was 97, it was May of 97. The reason I know that so well is it was my gift from my ex-husband to me for giving him a son, was nosebleed tickets to go see Metallica. So, hey, I got to see Metallica. Hey. That's all that matters. Right. And it was May of 97. My son was a month old. Things that stick out in our minds. Right. So, absolute best experience going to a local show. Favorite local show, favorite experience.
Gosh. Man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I enjoy all of them for just because I'm just there, But pretty much anything with Fatal Malady, Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. The best show, and I'll say this because I had back surgery in January last year. Mm-hmm. Literally, I was crippled. Couldn't hardly walk. Had to use a walker, And I went out 5 days after my surgery.
Probably shouldn't have.
Actually, no, it wasn't even that long because I had 2 surgeries back to back. I got out of the hospital. I had surgery on a Friday and then again on a Sunday. I was in the hospital until Wednesday. Fatal Malady put on a show at Club Red on, it was either Friday or Saturday. So, and I had to learn how to walk while I was in the hospital. So when I left there, I was using a walker to get around.
Uh-huh.
Probably for a good couple weeks, I had to use the walker or a cane. So I go there, and Brent come up to me. He's a guitar player, and he says, he was going to go get us a seat, because they were going to, save us a seat or whatever.
Right, so you could have a place to sit down.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of important.
He went out of his way to go and find me a place to sit. Because there's not very many places to sit at Club Red. I mean... Right. No, it's
pretty open, and there's not a lot of seating there.
So there's very few tables, but we went and made sure that we had a table and that we got to sit. Yeah, so that meant so much to me, and that's how they look out for me.
Yeah.
They were looking out for me. And I think even a show prior to that, or I don't remember, but yeah, they made sure they reserved a table for me.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm going, but I couldn't stand for a very long period of time at that time. So yeah, that meant a lot. So that's what stands out.
I'll tell you, I've got 2 standout moments that that let me know that I mattered. And both of them were pretty early on into this journey. The first one was from literally the second Oddity Paradox show that I went to. I showed up late. By the time I got there, if anybody knows me, they know that late to me generally is on time. On time to me is 15 minutes early. I literally showed up late. Oddity Paradox was already on stage.
Oh, crap.
So yeah, to me, I was really late. Came in. I tried to never make a scene. It's especially back then before I was anywhere near comfortable in people. I walk in, I walked straight back to the bathroom, went to the bathroom because I had just done a 30-minute drive. Went and got a soda and sat down at the table. Oddity Paradox was on stage. There's a part through Oddity Paradox's show where they take a sort of break while Horace Miller does his show-off time.
You mean Scotty's not showing off?
No, it's the Horace Miller time at that. It's Miller time. It's Miller time. Oh, I am so going to coin that phrase.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so they were doing that moment where, it's like 5 minutes that Horace gets center stage.
Show off his bad boy guitar.
You betcha. And Icky comes down off stage and says hi to his family, who were there at the show, and then quickly runs back to where I'm at to say, hey, I saw you walk in the door, and I thought to myself, great, she made it safely. And, okay, I've got to go get back up on stage now.
Oh.
Just wanted to acknowledge that I knew you were here.
That's sweet.
And that was exactly, I was like, wow, that is really nice. This is a genuinely good human being. And that was one of the reasons that I really, that was like one of the key reasons that started me fighting for Oddity Paradox, was that level of genuine kindness. The other time that really, again, made me feel, understand that I was a member of the family, was another Oddity Paradox show, only this one was at Joe's Grotto. And it was my first time at Joe's Grotto. And it was the Dead West Fest. And Scotty and Horace were running the merch table. Icky was off doing the Icky thing where he goes and socializes and meets and greets, and because he's actually really good at that.
At the front of the stage, rocking out.
He does that too. That's usually Matt that does that, though. That's Matt's job.
I've seen Icky up there.
Yeah, he does.
Especially when Fatal Melody's on stage. I've seen him up there.
Yep. So it's, I was standing with Scotty and Horace at the merch table kind of helping out, and I had my drink sitting there. And this was back when I still smoked. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to head out and have a cigarette. Because I don't ever walk away from the guys without them knowing. Because they actually look out for me. And I know that. I know that they do. So I don't want to cause them more concern. So this time I had left my drink sitting too far away for somebody's comfort. And I'm pretty sure it was Scotty that did it. But so I went out, had my cigarette, did a little bit of socializing out there, talking up Oddity Paradox, because I always do. And come back in, and my drink had been moved. My drink was no longer on the bar area that I had left it sitting at. And I assumed that the waitress had come and picked it up, thinking it was done, somebody was done with it. No, either Scotty or Horace, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it was Scotty, actually moved my drink back behind the table so that it was safe.
Well, that's good. I don't know. I would never even have trusted to leave my drink.
I didn't even.
Anyway.
I have gotten so comfortable out at the venues because I am surrounded by the bands, and they do look out for me. So I've gotten so comfortable that I don't even think about it anymore. My stuff is always with the band stuff. Everybody knows me now. Mm-hmm. I don't ever contemplate that somebody might have messed with my drink anymore. Mm-hmm. I know I should be more careful.
Someone might be slipping you a Mickey.
Which would be really bad since I drive myself to and from the shows.
Right.
But I just have that level of trust now in the bands that I've gotten to know. Like I said, they've become family. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my two moments of wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ooey gooey touchy girl stuff. So we are running out of time, guys, but before we wrap up today, I hope you've actually enjoyed this chance to get a behind the curtain view on who Penny and I are. If you happen to see us out at one of the shows, don't hesitate to walk up and say hi. If you see our camera up in front of our face, please wait to speak until we put the camera down, because that generally means that we're recording and your voice is going to get in on the recording. That might be a bad thing. But we do love to meet people. We appreciate the people that come up and talk with us. We appreciate the bands that we've gotten to meet, that we're going to get to meet, the videos that we get to take. And I hope you've enjoyed getting to know us a little bit better. Upcoming show dates that I want to make sure everybody's aware of. March 14th is the Local Beats 6-month anniversary show out at Hooper's in Glendale. April 10th is the Bringing Sexy Back show out at Chopper John's in Phoenix. And May 9th is Penny's 50th birthday party at Hooper's out in Glendale.
And don't forget to bring presents.
Oh, don't forget to bring Penny presents. Yay! Presents
We're just fine.
Presents for Penny. Presents for Penny. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on The Beat Goes On tonight, and have a great day. I hope to get to see you guys all out at the shows. Stop.